Thank you, everyone. Thank you, SABERA. Thank you, Suparna, for inviting me to this event today. This year, we are still recovering from a pandemic, and therefore, this event, like many other events, is being done virtually. I think it's a good time to reflect very quickly on COVID. And when I say it's a good time to reflect very quickly on COVID, I do not mean the impact of COVID in terms of deaths, in terms of infections, in terms of vaccination dashboards, in terms of the effect it has had on the economy, in terms of what is going to happen if there is a so-called third wave. All that stuff we know. The question to ask is, compared to dire prognosis that emanated from other countries, India handled COVID remarkably well. Why did India handle COVID remarkably well? Since I work for the government, it is very tempting for me to say that India handled COVID remarkably well because of the union government, because of state governments. Now, of course, that is true, but if I were to say that India handled COVID remarkably well because of governments, that would be only partial. India handled COVID remarkably well because of what India's citizens did. India handled COVID remarkably well because of the doctors and the nurses and the paramedical staff. India handled COVID remarkably well because what? Because of what we, the people, as citizens, did. And I want to underline this expression, we the people. India becomes a better country. India becomes a more developed country. India becomes a more prosperous country. India becomes a country that is better governed, not only because of what governments do. India becomes a better country. India becomes a better governed country. India handles calamities better because of what we, the citizens, do. We, the people. There are plenty of people who work towards betterment of the country. In his recent 75th Independence Day speech from the ramparts of Red Fort, the Prime Minister referred to Sabka Prayas. This is a statement of what I just said, Sabka Prayas, we the citizens. And as I said, there are plenty of people who work towards making India a better country. There are corporates, there are communities, there are individuals. Some of them are better known than others, and the ones that tend to be better known are lauded all the time. What to me is remarkable about what SABERA does is not only that it recognizes individuals, communities, and the corporate sector that is often unheralded, It picks out people we may not have heard of. It picks out and recognizes, yes, there are awards, but the awards are really recognition. It recognizes entities in the corporate sector who look beyond profit. It recognizes individuals who have been disabled and disadvantaged and have been able to come up. A case in point being the person, the individual who is going to lead us through the proceedings today, Parvati Shah. To my mind, what SABERA has been trying to do is not very different from what the Prime Minister has done by making the Padma Awards much, much more people-centric. And that is exactly what happens at an event like this. The corporate sector one generally knows about. One reads about it. And of course, the corporate sector does wonderful things looking beyond profits. Sometimes because of the danda or stick of corporate social responsibility, sometimes without that. But there are also communities and there are individuals. Whenever I come to a SABERA event, whether it is physical or whether it is virtual, and I hear about these accounts of interventions, I leave the event with a sense of enervation, with a sense of optimism, with a sense of enthusiasm that India can be a better country because India has citizens like this. So thank you, Suparna. Thank you, SABERA, for bringing this optimism amidst us. Yes, in the middle of the COVID pandemic, things are looking up because of what individuals have done, particularly women, particularly disadvantaged groups, particularly communities. In conclusion, I would also like to thank the jury members. They have a difficult task. The chairperson of the jury board for selecting these exceptional individuals, communities, and enterprises. Thank you very much.